So how the heck do you go about creating a customer archetype? Well, that's what this video is all about. I'm going to break down a real world example using the customer archetype template that's been developed for this course, so you have a deeper understanding of what the exercise looks like and how you can actually do it yourself. When I first heard of this kind of stuff, I gotta be honest, I thought it was bullshit. I thought it was a little bit hokey. I was like, okay, whatever, this doesn't really matter. But I'm telling you, after going through the process multiple times and really deeply understanding customers that I'm selling to, it helps you in almost every dimension to be a better brand, to be a better marketer, and to be a better product developer. So the key point and purpose of this presentation is to show an example on how to think through and construct a customer archetype template. And again, it's weird, but this stuff works. It's not a natural thing. It feels kind of hocus pocus, but it is a fundamental step in really developing a brand and developing products. And to make this the most easy to understand, I'm actually going to be using the FBA blueprint archetype that I developed when thinking about how I was going to sell this course and to really deeply understand the potential customer that was going to purchase this course. So since you purchased it, hopefully this will have some correlation and context for you to understand how this kind of stuff works. Later on in this module, we'll actually use a physical products example as a reference, but I wanted to start with this example of an FBA seller so it's a little bit easier for you to understand. So if you missed at the end of the last presentation, this is the customer archetype template. It's made up on the top left of the goals and values of the customer archetype, where they get sources of information on the bottom left. Top right are their challenges and pain points. Bottom right are their objections to the sale and what their role is on the purchase. And then that middle section is really just a summary description of who this person is. And we actually get down to the detail of actually naming and visualizing who the customer archetype is. So the first fundamental question, who are they? Who is your customer? And it's important to realize with the who is your customer to understand that this isn't all of your customers. This is just your ideal or aspirational customer that you want to target. There's going to be lots of people that buy your product. Obviously, it's not only going to be male of a certain age, of a certain marital status with certain goals, needs, wants, etc. But what you're trying to sculpt is who is your ideal or aspirational customer that is most likely to buy and purchase your product. But it's to identify your most ideal or aspirational customer, and then more customers will buy from that initial archetype, but that is going to be the tip of the spear in terms of who you're going to understand, who you're going to sculpt offers for, and who you're going to sell to. So to sculpt this for you, I'll use a real world example of Goal Zero, a company where I was an executive at. And you can just see from the Instagram feed, right? This is targeting adventurers. It's very lifestyle specific. It's looking at people that are out there doing crazy stuff. Mountaineers, adventurers, people camping, people building cool houses. A lot of this marketing was targeting aspirational customer archetypes. The actual people that were buying these products, or a lot of the people that were buying these products, were people that would go camping a couple times a summer, or they wanted to have a backup battery source that was kicking around in their garage in case the power went out. But the marketing that appealed to those people that were buying was this aspirational archetype, adventurer, young, living life to the fullest, living life on the edge, pushing the chips in. And that's an example of how this looks in practice. So one way to understand who your customer is what I like to call the YouTube hack. It's going to have a differing probability on how oftentimes it's going to work. So you may have to try this multiple times, but we'll break down how powerful this can be to really sculpt your user demographics. So this is an example. If you were to click on the Adam Heist channel, it would basically pull up my channel page like this. It's got all these tabs here at the top. If you were to click on that about over on the far right, it's going to pop up something that's going to share the details. And within this box, you can actually click on this view email address. It's going to do a CAPTCHA, so you have to kind of type in to prove that you're not a robot. And then it's going to pop up here the actual email of the content creator. In this case, this is my email that I've associated with the details of my YouTube account. So any YouTube influencer or content creator in any niche, you're going to be able to reach out to using this process. And the powerful thing that we're trying to uncover is, as YouTube creators, we have access to who our audience is. It gives us all kind of stuff like what channels do they watch, what's their age, what's their gender, what country are they from. So what we can do as brand developers is reach out to content creators on YouTube that are aspirational and really fit into the customer archetype that we're looking to target. And we can reach out to them and try to see if they would be willing to share some of those demographics and stats with us so that we can hone in really on who it is that we're selling to. So I've constructed this email here just to kind of give you an example of how this may look. Again, you might have to reach out to 20, 30 to get 2-3 hits on this to actually make it happen. But this effort is really valuable in understanding your customer. So again, you want to kind of stand out and get people to open the email and pay attention. So I've sculpted one here that you can feel free to use, or sculpt your own if you've got your own kind of approach on how you could do this. But basically the subject line says very odd request, but interesting. Again, I want them to open it and I want it to be an intriguing subject line. And the email reads like this. I wanted to start out by recognizing this is an incredibly odd request and one you likely won't ever get again. I'm Adam, founder of XYZ brand, currently pre-launch, and we are in the middle of developing our first set of products targeting this kind of customer. So just name the customer archetype. Mountaineer, gardener, golfer, croquet, or whatever the name is. Frankly, you are the epitome of who our customer looks up to. Enter odd request. Would you mind sharing a screenshot of your YouTube Studio audience stats over the previous 365 days? So YouTube Studio, go to Analytics, go to Audience tab, Geography, Age, Gender. The reason for the request is we are trying to deeply understand our ideal customer, who they are, what they value, how they buy, etc. What's in it for you? When we launch, we would love to work with you on a paid basis to natively integrate our products into your channel. Thank you so much for entertaining this weird request. So it's pretty simple, right? We just kind of want to reveal, it's a very hard ask getting a content creator to share their audience stats, and many won't want to do it. But doing it in, I think, a unique email way like this, hopefully gives the chance and opportunity that some of them will actually respond. And hopefully you can get 2, 3, 4, 5 YouTubers that really create compelling content towards your key customer archetype to share that information, because that will give you a better understanding of who your customers are and how you can target them. So this is what it looks like in our particular example. If you're going to my channel, go to the analytics section, this is what it looks like if you clicked on the audience tab and made it the last 365 days. This is basically what a YouTube content creator can see. So you can see all of the other channels that the audience watch. So it gives you a good idea and insight into other influencers in the space. And there's like 3 different kind of sections. So it gives you quite a list. Over there on the left, it doesn't really matter. It's kind of the time that people watch, not super critical. But there's other stuff that's really, really important, which is really cool. So it shows you the top geography. So you can see most of my audiences in the United States. It shows the watch time from the subscribers. And then it gets into some key demographic stuff. So there's age and gender. So you can see we're predominantly male. And it also shows the age bracket of folks that are actually watching the channel. So using this YouTube data is an incredibly powerful way to get stats about potential customer archetypes that you really can't get anywhere else unless you are a big customer research outfit and you spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on customer research. The next one is a brand analytics hack. So if you've got an existing brand on Amazon and you're building products similar to the products that others have purchased already, and you just want to understand who the heck's buying my stuff, who should I be thinking about when I sculpt my customer archetype for future products as part of this brand, you can go into the brand analytics section and just go to the top right there, click on brand analytics, and then it pulls up this tab here. And if you go down to the bottom left here on the demographics section and click on that, it gives you the ability to cut different reports. So whether it's the last quarter, if you can go into monthly or even weekly basis over time to see who it is, what's the profile and stats of the people that are actually purchasing your products on Amazon. And guess what? It gives you phenomenal information broken down by the dollar spent for any period of time that you select in different brackets. So one is age. So this is a brand example here where you can see pretty evenly spread, but there's a pretty solid cluster here between 35 and 54 in terms of where it's been. And it even shows the number of units that were ordered during that period for those age brackets. Also gives you household income. So you can start to understand what is the income of folks that are actually purchasing your products. Again, spread across the percentage of total. Gives you education status. So are they high school? Did they graduate from college? Did they have a bachelor's degree? Did they get a graduate degree? Or was there not enough information available? So it breaks down the education. And then finally, it breaks down gender. So you can kind of see a breakdown. Are you more female, male-centric, or is it a little bit down the middle? Gives you marital status. Are they single, married? Again, showing the distribution across orders. So this one's a pretty clear-cut example where north of 60% of the folks purchasing for this brand are married. So there's some really powerful information here, even within brand analytics, if you wanted to do that. So in my case, creating the FBA blueprint, who are they? I basically created one here called Michael. So this is a male that's married, that's 34 years old, that has 2 young kids and resides in the United States. It's important to really hone in, even again, there's obviously going to be females buying this course. There's going to be people in their 50s, 60s buying this course. It's not to say that everybody needs to be Michael that's purchasing this, but it gives us an idea on who our typical tip of the spear customer archetype is that we need to understand and speak to. Created a quote down below. The problem with the rat race is that even if you win, you're still a rat, kind of tying into some of the rationale and reasons that motivate Michael to pursue the Amazon business opportunity. The occupation of Michael is in business management. Job title is basically a junior executive, so senior manager, director level. He's making 145 grand a year, and his level of education is he's got an undergrad college degree. Again, there's people that make less money and more money than this that are purchasing the course, but I'm trying to hone in on who I think the perfect archetype is, given the stats from my YouTube channel and understanding of my customer. The next is, what are the goals and values? In this case, what are the goals and values of Michael? And here it's really about deep emotional reasons that we're trying to tap into. What do they deeply care about? What's their why? What's their reason? What are the pain or pleasure points driving them to buy or think about buying what you're offering? So in this case for Michael, I just wrote down the goals as to grow from $30,000 a month selling on Amazon to being able to achieve $200,000 plus per month. This revenue will enable him to quit his job and or achieve a 7-figure exit when the opportunity arises. He wants to build something meaningful that enables him to live life on his terms. So again, I've kind of created this, right? This is somebody already selling on Amazon relatively successfully already, but they want to take it to the next level to really unlock those underlying whys in their life for what they're actually pursuing with the Amazon business to begin with. In the value section, this first line is super, super important, again, because I'm the customer archetype here. I'm an Amazon seller. I've bought courses before, high-end courses. I know what the space is all about. This is pretty much me. It helps me understand the language of Michael, but it's not about the money. It's about the freedom. Think about that. How many times have you guys, as Amazon sellers pursuing this opportunity, thought about that same thing? If I'm speaking about things that really resonate with you and align, I've probably done a good job with this archetype. I'm really kind of deeply understanding not only this archetype, but you, the person that's purchased this course. Goes on to say he wants to spend time with his family. Again, he's got 2 young kids. He doesn't want to miss moments with his kids. He's come to the realization that the corporate world is a sham. Again, this person went to undergrad, they're making really good money, they're a junior executive, but there's something missing and they've realized that the corporate journey isn't it. It's not about the next title, impressing his boss, getting a raise anymore, though it was at one point. Again, coming out of college, maybe those things did motivate him, but not anymore. It's about unlocking a future where he is in control and truly free. So I'm thinking a lot about this when I'm designing the course, when I'm speaking to people about the course, and when I'm trying to sell the course. Because I want to tap into this emotional framework. I want to tap into these triggers. I want to sculpt the way that I present my offer in a way that provides answers to the goals and values that Michael has as a customer archetype. Moving on to sources of info. This is really about where do they digest information, where do they congregate, where do they hang out, who do they interact with? And really here we're trying to tap into the language of the customer archetype. So what is the language of the archetype? How do they speak? How do they describe their pain pleasure points? And where do they hang out? So in the case of Michael and this customer archetype, here are the sources of info. So YouTube channels. Again, I helped a little bit because I have my backend channel data, But let's say you didn't have an Amazon YouTube channel and you wanted to find out, you could technically email me and email all these other people and get a handful of them that would share this information, and you would discern this information as well. So YouTube channels, My Amazon Guy, Dan Rogers, Nomad Millionaire, Davey Fogarty, Tom Wang, Alex Harmozy. Some of those aren't even Amazon specific, but many of the folks that are in this arena are watching those channels. Facebook groups, Helium 10, Endgame, The Hustle. Again, The Hustle is not necessarily an Amazon specific one, but a lot of people in the e-com entrepreneurial space that are of Michael's age are on The Hustle. Sites and podcasts, so Danny McMillan, Ad Badger, My First Million. Influencers that Michael cares about, follows, and respects in the space. Miles Dunphy, Jamie Peros, Michael Finecht from the Endgame Network, Tim Jordan, Sharon Evan, Brandon Young, Tom Wang. By understanding who these influencers are, I understand the emotional trust that Michael has with people in the space. And then there's some other stuff here, right? So books he's read, as an example, 4 Hour Work Week. He's followed Naval Ravikant's How to Get Rich Twitter post, which is really popular in the sphere. So this is really just to understand, where is Michael hanging out? What's the language he's using? What are the people he respects? And we can tap into all those things when we're presenting offers to Michael to sell to him. Next is challenges and pain points. What we're really trying to do here is understand, what is the voice in their head consistently saying? So what's holding them back? What are they replaying in their mind when they're thinking about their goals? What's on their mind in those hours when they're trying to go to bed at night? What are they thinking about? What are they tolling over? What are they trying to solve for in their own brains? So the challenges and pain points in Michael's custom archetype, starting with challenges. The first course he bought on Amazon was great to get started and helped him get to $30,000 a month. But he doesn't have the more sophisticated strategies, tools, team structure, and processes to get to $200,000 plus a month. He wants somebody who's been there and who he trusts to get to the next level. He's afraid of what to do next and struggles a lot about what to do when going to bed at night. So again, we're kind of tapping into the journey he's been on. He's bought a course before. He's found some success. But there is a chasm that exists both in his mind and his emotional state with how he gets to $200,000 a month, and he thinks about it. And it's in his head. Pain points. How does he get out of the solopreneur world of doing everything? So to get to $30,000 a month, he's done it all himself. He hasn't hired people yet. He doesn't even quite know how to go about doing that, but he knows that's necessary to scale to $200,000 a month. What are the SOPs to help train and scale his business? He's tired of these money-hungry gurus with surface-level content, so he wants more. He's already gotten that surface-level content, which helped him get to $30,000 a month, but he knows that he needs more. He needs something deeper. He needs something more than just surface-level content. He also struggles with the cash to scale and buy inventory. And he also really fundamentally has a pain point of, how do I leave my job ASAP? Again, he's got these 2 young kids. He's been in this corporate world that he's done with. He realizes that's not the path for him. He wants to find his freedom as quickly as possible and realizes that there's a chasm with what he needs to do to get there. The next is objections and roles. So for this one, it's really what could create inaction or purchasing from somebody else. So what are the reasons they will use to talk themselves out of it or procrastinate? What person could stop them from purchasing? So in the case of Michael's objections and roles, first of all, one objection he has is, look, I'm already time strapped. I've got a day job. I've got 2 young kids. I've got this $30,000 a month Amazon business that consumes a couple hours a night of my time. Like, when am I going to find the time to do this? And should I find the time to do this? Also, it's an expensive purchase. He needs to win over an already partially skeptical wife who's kind of wondering what the heck this Amazon thing's all about. And so he's struggling with that. But Michael, if he knew he had the information he needed, he'd buy. But how can he be sure? So that's kind of wrestling with him. And then his role in the purchase process is that he has the money and decision-making power, so he can pull the trigger on his own, but he does need to inform and ideally win over his spouse so he's got that happy wife, happy life scenario. So this is what Michael looks like, right? And hopefully you guys kind of understand how this kind of came about a little bit. Again, it's not that Michael is every single customer, but Michael gives us a finite directional arrow that we can chase in terms of who we understand and who we're selling to. And that can inform our offer, that can inform our price, that can inform how we sell, the language we use, how we market, the imagery we use, the voice of our brand and business. All of those things can act as an envelope to best deliver a pitch and an offer that's compelling to Michael on his journey, in this case, as an Amazon seller. Again, later on in this module, we'll get into one on physical products, but I wanted to at least sculpt one that everybody watching this hopefully can understand and at least get some context for how these things are pieced together.